Hi, this is Mr. Gallagher, and this is video 1 of section 2.4 in Algebra 2 called Writing Linear Equations. Before we do our first example, we're going to review slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is a good tool if you're trying to graph a line on the coordinate plane because it shows us two very important pieces of information. The m, which is going to be in front of the x, is our slope, or the steepness of our line, or some people like to think of it as rise over run. And the b, which is either going to be a positive or a negative number, is going to be our y-intercept. And that's where our line is going to touch the y-axis. So y equals mx plus b is a very good tool that we're going to use throughout the lesson. So example 1, write an equation in slope-intercept form for this line on the coordinate plane. So here's our coordinate plane, and here's the line. Alright, so since we're going to be using slope-intercept form, we know that we're going to start with y equals mx plus b. And when we look at our line, we know that it is moving up as we go from left to right. And we can see a few important things about it. First, see here where it touches the y-axis right at 4. Well, that's going to end up being our y-intercept. So we're going to have y equals some number on top of some number. Remember, slope is rise over run, and that's in front of x. And then our y-intercept is going to be positive 4. So now we just need to figure out how steep this line is, how far it goes up compared to how far it goes across. So what is a good thing to do, if you look at the way the line moves, you can maybe identify some spots where it touches the corners of the boxes, like for instance right here. And if we put a dot there, and then if you kind of travel up the line and look to see where that happens again, maybe right here. And then starting at the point that's on the left, if we go up 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, that's going to end up being our rise, or the top part of our slope, and then go across 1, 2, 3 until we get to the second point. That's going to be our run. So then our answer for the slope-intercept form of this line, y equals 4/3 x plus 4. Example 2, we're going to do the same thing again now for a different line. We're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So really it's going to be the same thing again. We're going to have some number rise over run in front of x, so it'll be a fraction, and then we'll be adding or subtracting some number to that x. Well, for this line, we can start with our y-intercept, and you can see that it goes through at -1. So -1 on the y-axis, so that you replace our b with a -1 this time. And this line, when we're looking at different places to begin to start thinking about our slope, notice there's a lot of different points where it crosses the corners of the boxes. So we'll put a couple of dots in here. Doesn't really matter where. You can pick any two. And starting with the one that's on the left, we'll go down this time 1. So to represent going down 1 rather than up 1, we'll call that -1 for our rise. And then across 1 for our run. So our slope is going to be -1 over 1. But you can represent the slope in a slightly different way if you want. Instead of saying -1 over 1, another way of saying that is just -1x, or you can even just say it as -x, because a lot of times if there's a 1 in front of a variable, it doesn't have to be written. So the final answer then, y equals -x minus 1.